First trial gave us 6 years of prison sentence, 5 years for blasphemy, a year for propaganda against the state, which it was the blasphemy thing could have been execution.
Welcome back to the Headbangers podcast, where your hosts Nathan and Brad. Today's guest is Confess. How are you doing, man? Start off with.
I'm fine, thank you. Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Not a problem at all. So I want to kind of start off with an icebreaker. What's your funniest, worst, or best tour story? You can choose between the three. Which one you prefer?
The funniest story I could say, I don't know, related to what, the shows you mean, or?
Yeah, just like gigs that you've played.
Yeah, I remember the last show that we had in Oslo, and it was in last year October. After the show, there was this dude who just showed up at the kind of in the after party that was at the same place. It was in the venue, and we were there with the band that opened for us, and we were just hanging out and just chilling. And this dude was just sitting next to us, and he was just asking questions and talking, and we didn't know the guy at all, but we thought that he's probably he's a friend with the other band. So
Yeah.
we were just talking, but then we just found out that he is not even friends with the other band. And I don't remember his name, but I think he was from Spain or something, and he was very drunk, and it was a very funny conversation. So it was one of the funny things that happened recently. Yeah, I can remember that one.
I always love like the gig conversations when everyone's just really drunk, and I like to set a camera or put like a GoPro on and just like look back at all these conversations, because it's like what the fuck was I talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
I've done it many times.
It's like you're just trying to be like humble and polite and just talk to people and just open up, but then you just realize that nobody knows this guy. So we were basically asking that who let this dude in.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was another conversation. Our drummer, then he found out that he's just there by himself. So he was trying to pick on him, and that was so funny. Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, I think everyone's had those moments where they've like
Yeah.
after a gig, where they've gone up to the merch table just completely blasted, shit for like about an hour, and then like left, and then woke up in the morning like, fuck, what did I say? What? Oh, I'm such a dick.
Yeah.
One thing I kind of want to jump into as well, like obviously towards the end of last year, you guys released an absolutely phenomenal single. Is this kind of like alluding to a possible EP or a new album coming from you guys?
We've been working on a new album which is called Revenge at All Costs, and we've been working on the record for a couple of years. And the song in this album was written in I can remember 2016, 17. But because of the situations that we were at and the lawsuits and everything, we couldn't really get into it. And I wrote the songs when I was bailed out from jail for the charges, which is a whole another story. And so the songs were just about that time, but without lyrics or anything. But later on, just added lyrics, and we just started recording it, like making demo out of them, but wasn't really satisfying. So it was a very long process. And then I just moved to Norway and new bandmates, and so everything was like, we were like, okay, we are getting at the end of this loop, but then finally we just found out that we have to start from the beginning somehow, which it kind of helped the process, but it was a little bit mind-boggling because you're like, okay, now it's done, now I can just move on with my career. But the album was something that was on mine, and I can say that it's finished now, and we are at the last stages of publishing it. We're talking to record labels and stuff. So it's gonna see a light of the day. I mean, I hope I could say that it will come out this year, but we're not sure. Maybe the beginning of next year. We're still talking about that. But that single track, that specific one, "What You Kill," it was something that I just I'm constantly writing, but that song was something that I just wrote during the lockdown, and with like seeing and watching the news and like and the way that people behave and everyone freaked out about, especially the first few weeks. I just needed to just kind of uh, just release this one, and I just talked to my guys, and they were like, "Yeah, I mean, why not?" Because because the song is basically about the animalistic part of human being and how we learn to survive no matter how, and then at the time of danger, we kind of see that any human being can become like an animal and just trying to do anything just to survive, and that song is what it's about. And Eat What You Kill basically came from this irony that is kind of you should stay with the consequences that comes after your action, and if you kill something, you have to eat after that. So you have to be prepared for the aftermath. And but that song is not on the album, but we received a very positive feedback from that, and we're very happy that people like it.
No, it's an
Yeah,
absolute
it was
rage, to be
incredible.
honest. But also, as well, it's
Thank you.
such a relevant song for the time, though. Just like how everyone becomes
Yeah.
animalistic. Like when I look at people in the shops, just like when they were like crawling for toilet paper and like
Oh
arguing with each
yes.
other. I was like,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
that
Tell
it's
about it.
definitely relevant for the time for sure.
Yeah.
Especially like the shit that happened on like Capitol Hill, like the beginning of like this year. Like that was
Oh yeah.
fucking animalistic as fuck. Like I remember watching it being like, the fuck is going on?
Yeah, you're
Like
like, man, what the fuck are people thinking about? Yeah, you're like, you see people freaking out, as you said, for the last like toilet paper in the mall, and everyone is just like, but so you can see that basically the civilization and this being civil, it's a mask that we basically learn how to put on, but as Joker said in the Batman movie, when the first signs of chaos shows up, you will see that this is exactly like that. So you can see that basically with some of these, for example, as I named it, like a movie, it's like it's way ahead of its own time. It's talking about something that you will see when it comes. You will see that how people behave,
Yeah.
and you see some stuff from like in different situations. You sometimes see that everyone has that kind of relationship or had one that you see that people kind of just change instantly over something that you're like, what the fuck is he or she the same guy I
Yeah.
knew? But so that's what inspired me to write that one.
No, oh yeah. I mean, as well, you've mentioned about the topic for Eat What You Kill. What about the concept for the new album then? Can you explain, like, lyrically what kind of concepts you'd like to drive towards? Or is that, like, it's a secret for now, we can't tell you?
No, I think I mentioned that a couple of times in there, but because as the title kind of says, it's about the time that we kind of I'm just trying to come up with the best way possible to explain it. Sometimes in your life, you're thinking about like doing something which is very important for you, but then something happens, and then life just the turns of events brings you to a situation that you have to fight for something else instead of that. And at the time, me and my bandmate Arash, we were basically fighting for freedom, and that was bigger than the music itself, because you're basically when someone's trying to take your freedom away, they're basically fighting for your life. So but the only weapon that we had was the music, still as always will be. And so you are faced with something that is bigger than life, which is a law, and and there's this huge wall you cannot climb up, and like there's no turning back, and you have to stay there, wait for your court and sentence, and just trying to be positive, but you need a release. So I just need to write this down, and there is this fight in me always that I need to give it an outlet, and the music was always that outlet for me. You hear this from almost every artist, that my music, my art, whatever it is my outlet. But at that moment, I really kind of coat. So I was like, I just need to write this down, and then I just came up with this couple of songs, a bunch of songs that I was just constantly based on fighting for what's right, fighting for your freedom, fighting for the meaning of rage and retaliation, and all of this was in there. It's an album that is very angry and aggressive in lots of way, and when I listen to it still to this day, I'm like I had every to write this way because it was just on my mind, and but at the same time I didn't want to write a prison album. I wanted to talk about different aspects of the whole story. That someone writes music for what he believes, even he's going to jail, bailed out, waiting for basically longer sentence, because that type of trials is not something that say that, okay, I gotta bring my lawyer and defend myself. It's basically like a puppet show. You're gonna go down.
Yeah.
So you're just hoping for the minimum sentence, basically. So that was the thing. That was about that is about the fighting, but like different aspects of it. I cannot really say that what is it specifically, but every song is talking about uh, um, a different side of the story that I experienced in my life during the last half a decade, and I really cannot wait for people to listen to it, and I just hope that it can make that impact that I'm wishing for, and someone can like. It's not that type of thing that you would be out of touch with, because how many people go to jail for music? No, it's not about that.
Yeah.
If you listen to it, you can kind of resonate with whatever you're facing with in your life, and it's just that kind of vibe, and it's that message of fighting for what you think is right, and if it is right, no matter who, with how much power is standing in front of you, you have to just go through it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, as well, you can hear it from your music, like just like the real aggression, though. Like there's so many bands that put it on, like they'll go for experience, like, oh, my girlfriend broke up with me, which is obviously something sad that people go through, but you've got like a real story to tell. And I think that your music is the best template for that, and people will see that when the album comes out. But yeah, it's definitely something I'm looking forward to hearing. So,
Yeah.
because it's such a traumatic but like interesting story that you've been through.
Yeah, because I mean, it's like a tragedy turning to triumph. It's that meaning for me, and I know that everyone, no matter how old they are or where they're living, it's the same word, it's the same situation, and you can find something in there that maybe I hope that it will help, and just uh, make that positive impact,
Yeah.
because I could talk about, yeah, how shitty and depressed I was back then, and all that, but I'm not that type of dude. I'm like, no matter how hard it is, I'm just trying to put on that calm face and just take it, and then try to find something to learn from it the day after.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Now, obviously, like you've mentioned the trial, and if you're completely comfortable talking about it, could you kind of like tell the audience what kind of you went through? Like
Yeah,
just
sure.
so it offers a bit of meaning to it. Obviously, if you're completely comfortable with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine for me, but I can just make it very short. It was me and my bandmate. We were arrested in November 9th, 2015 by Revolutionary Guard in Tehran, Iran, because of like so many charges, but it was basically blasphemy and propaganda against the state through our music. But there were like so many other things, founding and running a legal record label and a lot of stuff. But then we're taken to FM prison in Tehran and kept there for 3 months in solitary confinement, interrogations and everything. And then after that, we were transferred to public sector and were kept there for another almost 15 months. So after almost a year and a half, we were bailed out for $40,000 each. Waited for the trial, which took like another year and a half until we get to the first trial. First trial gave us 6 years of prison sentence, 5 years for blasphemy, a year for propaganda against the state, which it was the blasphemy thing could have been execution because it's a very complicated law and stuff. But as far as I know, since we were talking about God and everything, it was led into the 5-year sentence, which was maximum. I think it was maximum sentence. But if you talk about prophet and stuff like that, which I'm not really expert in it can be led into execution, which I find myself lucky of. Yeah, it's just totally nonsense. And even for us, it's like, what the fuck, which century is this law written at? But yeah, after that, we asked for appeal, and the appeal court. But during that time, between that, I left the country and went to Turkey. Lived there for almost a year and a half. My bandmate couldn't make it because he had some problems, and but since we asked for appeal, he showed up at appeal, and also my lawyer was there. And then since I was still working on music and talking, what I'm saying at the time, it was 2017. I was talking and just being open about the case, talking to like in national media. They and released one song at the time, Phoenix Rises, 2018. The system didn't really like it, so they turned my sentence into from 6 to 12 years and a half.
Wow.
Added more charges,
You know.
plus 74 lashes for I don't know what, but lashes. I mean, that's just fucking weird. And but they reduced Arash's sentence from 6 to 2 because basically I wrote the lyrics and everything. So, but because he was in the band, they should have given him something. But I'm just happy that they turned his 6 into 2. But during that time, before announcing the sentence, Arash asked me that if there's any way that he can leave the country. But the good thing was that he had his passport at the time. So he just bought a ticket, came to Turkey, but at the time I got introduced to some organization that works with artists who are at risk and because of what they published and their work. And I got the invitation from Norway. So in 2018, late 2018, I moved to Norway, but a few months after that, Arash came to Turkey now. And he asked me that if I can like talk to some people here, which they helped me, who they helped me, so maybe they can help him. And after a couple of weeks, he also was transferred into Norway because it was really emergency. And when he moved here, it was May of 2019. And in the July of the same year, they announced the sentence, which was the same thing that I just told you guys. And so he just dodged the bullet and he just came here. And then we just found out one day through a call from a lawyer that the sentence now is basically 14 years and a half plus 74 lashes both together.
Oh my God.
And then we were like, holy shit. So if I consider that a punch, so we punched back. We released a song which is called Evan, and it's about the jail. And we just put it out the same day that they announced the sentence. And so, and then it just got a lot of feedback from a lot of places. And the Evan is also on the record on the in the new album. And yeah, I mean, so far it's that 14 years and a half is back home for us.
Jesus.
So like if you don't return, then you don't have to face it. But if you stay in Norway, you're gonna be fine. Like, are you still facing
Yeah,
some of
yeah.
these challenges now?
Yeah, we're still facing the prison sentence, and yeah, but we're political refugees, and we're staying here. But if any time I decide to show up, cuffs are gonna be waiting in the airport.
Jesus.
Wow.
Well, what was sort of like the day that you guys were arrested? What were kind of going through your head?
Oh man, I was sleeping in my house. It was 8:30, and then it was funny because there was this someone was ringing the door, and it was 8:30 in the morning, and I'm not a morning guy, dude. And this
No,
I was
neither am
Me
I.
neither. Me
yeah,
neither.
fuck it, I'm not gonna answer you. And then it just happened in another hour. Someone was just constantly ringing the door. Dude, there were cops. There were cops who were ringing the door. The apartment. If you would like say, my place was the first floor, so I just came and there was this view from the kitchen to the street, and I just looked and I just saw that there were like a couple of guys that standing. They looked very like in the suits and stuff. I don't know what I was thinking, but I was like, they probably uh this is wrong address or something, that type of stuff. So I just got back to bed, and like an hour later, my mom, she was at the house. So around like 11 or something, my mom came, and then I just saw that someone ring the door again. So they saw my mom. So they started so they said that, would you please come down and just have some asking some questions. And then I just saw that after maybe 2 minutes or even less than that, there were like 10 cops in the living room and asking for me, but very nicely, politely, no like SWAT
Yeah.
kind of fucking action movie stuff at all. So my mom, I just saw that she just turned yellow, and she's like, these are cops and they have warrants and they're asking for you. So I just dressed up, came out of the room, my room, and at the time I was 21 years old. And these guys were like, yeah, it's because of the music and things like that. We have a search and seizure warrant, so we have to just get on with our job. And I was just really in a very shitty attitude. I was like, okay, I didn't do anything. It's my room, just whatever you want to do. Bro, they just vomished through my room. They just took anything that they could have from my computer, everything. There was this dude, he was maybe a hacker or something, and he had every passport to any account that I had. And they just went and just attached something to my computer, and just I don't know what it was. Like, they just took everything away from my instruments, everything, and then it just took like maybe that was the longest 1 hour or 2 hours of my life.
Not,
It
not
was like
surprised.
yeah, it's like fuck man, just finish this. And then I asked them that should I be somewhere, or they were like yeah, maybe 10 minutes, just questions, and then you were free to go. I was like, okay, they're gonna take me somewhere, smack me up a little bit. What did you write? And just sign this. I'm not gonna do this anymore. This type of stuff. But then at the last minute, there was this guy at the last minute. They didn't handcuff me from my mom, but there was this dude who just took my like right arm and the other one the left, and I just felt like this fucking. I felt like I don't know, but I was like, are these guys really here for me? I mean, I'm just making music. What? So and they came with the like translated lyrics in Persian, so they knew that what I was writing, and it kind of gave me that kind of feeling that, bro, if a government comes after you for your music, it's like they give you a Grammy or something. You know what I mean? It's like they heard me, and my music is political, so they heard me. And
Yeah,
it wasn't just
thanks for the promo.
yeah, and it's just not like a waste of time or anything. They heard me. They heard what I was saying for years. And at the time, we were working for 5 years, almost 5 years. So yeah. So then my mom asked them that, where are you taking my son? And they were like, you can not today. Today is like there's not enough time for you to show up, but you just come to the Evan prison day after. The minute I heard that, I was like, okay, this is serious. They're gonna take me strictly to prison, straight to district court, and just holding me there for who knows how long. And Evan prison is very infamous. It's a political prison, and they keep also like financials and some like second degree murders and stuff in there, but uh, yeah, and it's a jail that was used for the same purpose even before the revolution in 1979 in Iran. So yeah, I mean that was the day that. Then I noticed that they at the same time they were also arresting Arash, my bandmate. He's the DJ in the band. So then the day after, we didn't see each other because we were in solitary confinement.
Yeah.
And after interrogations, which was around 2 weeks, we were kept there for 23 hours daily, and you don't see anyone, and it's a very crazy process. But yeah, that was the day that I was arrested.
Like, you know when you said like the people came to your house, like the police, like with the way that you described them was like it wasn't even like your standard police. It was like some government officials that came to come get
Yeah,
you.
government officials. It wasn't
That's so
like
crazy.
police. Yeah, there were intelligent agents, intelligent
Wow.
agents that there's this revolutionary guard in Iran, which is the same as army, but as far as I know, Iran is the only country in the world that has kind of two army. The Revolutionary Guard has its own name. The guardians of the revolution.
Yeah.
So they are like, it's uh like Nazis. They had this SS, and the other one, which
Yeah,
was
Right.
yeah.
they're SS. Like they care about what you think, and they're the ones to fuck things up even outside, and get conflicted with the U.S. Army and so many other stuff that is
Yeah.
happening. But so and they had and they are and there are different corpses and units in there, which one of that is intelligence. And as far as I was told with one of these instigators, it was that we are looking after you, we are following you for a year and a half in social media, and it's like the fuck. It's like you don't think that what you're doing something that you know that it can backlash and it's illegal, and beside of that you speak the truth of the power. You're very accessible, you're there. There's no something that you hide yourself or anything. But you will be surprised. I mean, you'll be surprised at how they react. And then, as my lawyer said, they kind of react. The reaction was the way that they send a message to other artists that just this was one of your, like, I'm not saying, I'm not gonna label myself anything, but these guys were loud and everyone knew them, right? So this is what happened to them. So just be careful, So that was the main message.
They
And
almost like wanted to make like an
after
example.
that, yeah, because there is a very huge and active underground scene, lots of metal bands in Iran and stuff, but uh, there's not an actual scene at the same time. There's a festival, no record label, no metal shop, whatever. Everything's happening through internet. If
Yeah.
you want to buy a T-shirt, you will go find this Instagram page that everything is in there, but you cannot really advertise. And as they told me, you have a right to think whatever you want, but as soon as you start to talk about it to the masses, it's against the law, you know. because you are giving people another narrative. And you're young, and you're a musician, and you as a musician, as an artist, are way more attractive than a politician.
Yeah.
So kids start listening to you, and then they don't like this because after a few years you can be really big, and then you can be a real huge problem. So our case was political and like as they call it, national security type. And that's funny because I'm saying it's funny, but at the same time, it's not actually. It's horrible because we were kept at the same section in that we know that we heard after that in the same section that it was solitary confinement, there were prisoners that were kept from ISIS around the border of. So it's a national security case too. See, so they will see you as the same one. As I was told another time by the same interrogator, he told me the same interrogation that you're a threat to this, you're a threat to the national security, so we'll treat you as one.
That's crazy that they keep you in the same label as someone that's like in ISIS when you're just there. It's like, I just want to play my metal, man. Like, why am I in the same place?
Yeah, it's like, so they will see me as the same extremist, but in another way that I'm just trying to destroy the system. I don't have a weapon. My weapon is the pen and my guitar and my music. I have another type. So it's the same category, and you're like, wow, man, my life turned into a fucking movie now. And now I have to live it. I have to play my role and just roll with it and see that where it goes, because you do not have any control over the process. You don't know where it's going to go. You don't know how long it's going to take. And it's a fucking nightmare. You're under a lot of pressure. And at the same time, you are 21-year-old and you are seeing your friends that they do not have the same problem and they have a very easy life. They don't think the same way. I had friends that they were like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Come on, bro, pick a side." I know how you think about the regime, but they were like, "Bro, you knew that it's illegal." Like trying to blame me, and so that wasn't nice. It's like you're fighting for something, and your friends also sometimes. So many of my friends, they're just scared. Like they were scared, just shitless scared, and they just ran away. I never saw them again. Never saw. So even outside of jail, it's not a nice life because everyone just try to. You're totally isolated, which is a very long story, and I'm not trying to get into that. But yeah, I talked a lot.
No, so like I wanted to ask as well on top of that, like, going through all the controversy, like going through everything that was thrown at you, was there any a point where you wanted to just quit and say, fuck it, I'm not doing this anymore? Or did that just fuel your motivation to keep writing and keep the band going?
Yeah, I know what you mean. The first 2 months, then I bailed out. I was bailed out. I was into that why me type of phase, and I was like, I just kind of hated my guitar because I was like, this music thing gave me a life, and now it's trying to take it back like tenfold, and I just hated all of this. But at the same time, I was like, they're talking shit. Well, you was built for this. And then after a couple of months, because bro, even when we came out of jail, the news were already out, and we were under a lot of pressure for this. Because they were like, okay, now your case is bigger, like Guardians to Daily Mail and Metal Hammer to Crank Magazine and so many other places that are talking about you, and it doesn't look right. So they basically they captured us again for a couple of more months. And you were like, we do not even have our cell phones. There's no connection because they took everything. And slowly they started to giving stuff back. But I was fired from university at the time. And but it, as I'm saying, you can understand that what is habit or simply just talent for someone costs me a lot, right? So I had two types of option in front of me that either I say, okay, fuck it, man. I mean, I'm not gonna be changed, whatever, or be someone else, but just trying to like turn it down and this is not this doesn't worth it. Or the other one, which I picked, of course, which was okay, this cost me a lot. So if I drop this now, it would be all in vain.
Yeah.
And so I just went even harder. It, as you said, it just feel me as like, wow, a lot. They just gave me a mission. I just noticed that basically they showed me that what I was born for. I was like, okay, yeah, cool. Okay, so it's not just talent, love, whatever you call it. This is a mission. This is what I'm here for. And yeah, instead I just picked it and just went with it even harder than before. At the time, it was like I would love to be a full-time musician, but then I just noticed that I gotta do this, and I have a story to tell, and it's a huge thing because then I just noticed that if I get old, what do I have to talk about? You know, then and they will win, and they will win if I say that okay, fuck it, I'm not gonna do this anymore, or I'm gonna do it another way. They will win. Even if I change the name of the band, I just do it another way and start another band, they will win because they will destroy what I've worked for 5 years.
Totally, man. Yeah.
You know, so I said, fuck it, man. Just go. You just die once, and I'd rather die for this than live for so many other things.
No, I
Definitely.
respect that.
I think as well, like the fact that they went through such a big effort to like, which shows that what you're saying actually does have weight, and what you're saying is actually it does actually mean something. Like, and I think it's so admirable that you just decided, you know what, fuck them, and like
Yeah.
started going, I'm just gonna keep doing it just to piss you off, like, and just proper motivated yourself. And I think
Yeah,
that,
man. It's also it's also motivating to me sometimes. And it's weird that sometimes you're so motivated that it even motivates yourself, you know? So when I look back and I see that's the situation that I was at, and I had every right to quit, and I didn't, and now I'm here, I'm 27 years old. It was like 6 years ago, and I'm like, I like that kid, you know? I like that kid. He's like stubborn motherfucker. So it is like it's also motivating for me today, and I'm happy that I took this path. And I don't expect anyone to understand it, and that's cool because I also don't understand every choice that people make. But I'm trying to be in the positive side of history. That's what I'm trying for.
I
Maybe
love that.
someone one day open up this podcast and in the next 100 years and learn something. I hope.
Yeah, oh yeah. But I love like the rebelliousness though. Like, people just say, "Oh, I'm gonna be metal, I'm gonna rebel," which is mostly just like rebelling against your parents or something like that. But like you're like, no, I've actually rebelled. I've rebelled against the law enforcement, the court trials. Like
Yeah,
nothing,
it's a
nothing.
little different. Yeah.
It's just also is like nothing will stop you from just creating metal music, and that's something to respect.
Thank you very much. Happy to hear it.
Oh yeah, man.
yeah, honestly, I think there's so much to be like sort of learned from your story when it comes like, especially like the way that you look back on it and you're like, this motivates me, and you've almost turned like the trauma and the pain of going through it into like a positive.
Yeah.
So one thing I want to ask you is like, do you always have you always like sort of thought this way, or is this something you've learned, like the positive mental attitude that you've got now, or is it something that you eventually grew into?
Um, I don't know. I guess it must be in nature in a way. It's not. You will learn definitely. You will learn how to strategize and all that because it's a chess game. You will see that it's not just like. I mean, I don't know if you guys ever been in a court or something, and you can be in a court for different reasons.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're on the right side. Sometimes you're in the wrong side. You're the one who is in danger. But for something like this, when you go to the court and you see a judge with that much power in front of you, you will notice that. I mean, your family is the one who's always there for you. That was the thing for me. Your friends may be there, may not, whatever. But it's just all behind the door. They cannot get in, bro. It's just you. You're the one who goes to the sale. So they can just cheer you up, support you, which they did in my case, and I'm very happy and I'm gifted for that to have a family like that. And but something that it must be in you. But during the process, you will learn a lot of stuff. You'll learn a lot of stuff. I'm not sure if I'm just giving you the right answer for your question, but if that's the one, that's the thing that you want to know. Um, something that you must be that type of have that type of character to. It's not something that I inject to someone so like go fight for this. Someone, as I said a couple of minutes ago, they don't get it. Get it? Why you put your life in danger for what you love? But to me, honestly, that's the attitude of losers. I mean, come on, that's what you love, bro.
Yeah, if you truly like love
You
something,
cannot
you're gonna
just
go all out.
yeah, you're just gonna go out. And as I said, you just die once. But um, how many days you want to live in fear? I don't want to live in fear. That was one of the things that I decided to leave. Because I was like, okay, even if I go to jail, come back, what do I have? I'm 30, almost 30. I was living in jail for 6 years. I don't know what's been happening outside. People outside are not gonna know me, and then I'll be a waste of talent. Then a lot of stuff. So that was also another bold decision that you will leave everything behind and you start again. And immigration is something that I can just only way to describe it is like being reborn. You have to learn, oh man, so many stuff again, right? And uh, and you're somebody in your country, in your city, in your home, in your neighborhood, whatever. I mean, you're someone. You are a citizen. You're having a job. You're having friends. You have a relation. You have family. Uh, you're a student or whatever. But then you should see that how much pressure you're under that you are deciding that you would decide to just say fuck it. I just gonna go, and then also you have to see that how much important that one thing is for you to leave all this behind, and then you say that I don't know if I'm gonna make it or not, but I just gotta go. So the day I actually um, left the country, I remember I told my mom that from now on, my life is gonna be always on a business trip. I'm going to business trip. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna do what I they took from me. I'm just gonna take it. I'm not gonna take this back. Like I'm just gonna leave. As I said, I'm gonna leave so many stuff, but I have to achieve a lot to say that. Okay, now it's kind of
It's
it's
now.
worth it. You know, so it's like that's enough fuel. Every day you wake up and you're like, okay, I have a thing to fight for. I have to make it. It's like that kind of a fighter mentality. Yeah,
Yeah,
every
man.
day you gotta hustle. You gotta hustle, and it's not to be in a and the what you gain it can be, and most of it is like eternal, right? I'm not talking about making a lot of money or whatever. It's not about that. It's just about shine so bright that those guys who try to bury your life see you and say like, oh fuck, we should have We should have finished him while we could.
No, he's won.
So that's what I'm talking about.
No, exactly. Well, I mean,
Definitely.
confess.
Sorry guys, I need to get my light. Just 1 second.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
worries.
go for it.
Oh, sorry.
But yeah, like
Yeah.
confess is like your baby. It's your legacy. You know what I mean? So it's good job that you didn't give up on it, because now you can only go up. What's like it been like, being in Norway? So now that you're out of there, and I guess it's a bit less pressure. Like, what is life like now for you and for the band?
It's pretty good. I mean, we kind of find ourselves in here very fast. Because I remember the first week that after the second week that I was here, there was this guy who was handling some of my stuff, and as I said, I came here through an organization, so there were people here waiting for me. And then I remember I went to his office and I was like, "What's now?" It's like, you're here just for 2 fucking weeks. Just wait. Like, I need to find musicians. I need to record. I had so many stuff to do, but I had to wait. But I'm very glad to say that it just took me like a year to find like band members. Changed some of them like before even announcing, but uh, I just crossed paths with so many cool people that that some of them I'm working with, and basically sharing this dream with, and they have the same vision and they understand it, and they respect this, and we're very we're like families now. And but at the same time, as I said, it's a struggle every day. You have to learn the new laws and everything, and do other stuff, but that thing keeps us motivated. And the new album is coming, so that's another thing. Oh, we're gonna open for Mayhem in
Oh,
June.
wow.
Yeah, and
Amazing.
the show was sold out in 3 hours, bro. 3 hours. And
That's
it's
I
Mayhem.
genuinely wish I could go to it.
Yeah.
Me too, man. Me too.
Yeah, I wish I could see you guys. Yeah, but it's and we played a bunch of other gigs. We played in Oslo for once. We're not living in Oslo. We're in north of Norway, but we just went Oslo because we had a couple shows, and then we decided to let's just do a show in Oslo. And just 1 week before that, we announced, and it was sold out. Like, what the fuck is happening? And so many cool people, because Oslo is kind of like black metal scene in Norway. And other cities, you will see other genres more than you will see in Oslo. Oslo is more about black metal.
Yeah.
But bro, for example, I don't know if I should say it in here or not, but you guys must know Vortex from Demo Borger.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, at the time that we played the gig, the show was restricted, and if you could get a ticket, you have a ticket. If not, they couldn't let you in. Vortex was hearing that there's this band by the sound engineer, Rob, which is a good friend of us, at the venue, that you should check these guys out, And then he didn't get the ticket. It was like at the last minute, I would just go and get the ticket at the door. But the show was sold out, so they didn't let him in. And then we heard
wow.
from Rob that Vortex from Demo came to our show and we couldn't have him here. I was like, bro, I'd rather to leave the fucking venue and just let him in. It was insane. It was insane. So many cool people just showed up and just showed us support and love, and they enjoyed the music and everything. And that was one of those moments that I was like, yes, I mean, this is cool. And but I just hope that we would be able to play more in the next couple of months. We had a tour that was canceled because of those restrictions and lockdowns and everything, Corona. Like so many other bands, we had single shows and single like events, festivals that was also canceled and also postponed to next year. But we're in the same boat as the others, so nothing to complain about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I think we're slowly moving towards like I hope, and I hope I'm not jinxing it, like the end point of it where it's like, oh, it's going back to normal. Because I know in the UK, like we're getting like a lot more restrictions, like easing, vaccine rollouts going amazingly, and like
Yeah.
I am honestly praying that Bloodstock goes ahead because I'll be so upset if it doesn't. Because like after a
Yeah, me
year
too.
not going to shows, not seeing bands, yeah. Because like we really wanted to be able to do like interviews in person, so when bands would be in the UK, we could go and see them and interview them after the show. And after just a year not being able to do that, it's just so exciting to possibly be able to do it again.
Yeah.
Like it's just that little
Yeah, it
glimmer.
is.
Like
It is. It just gives you that kind of first time kind of vibe, and yeah, I just hope that I know that UK is one of those countries that is way ahead in vaccination, and I'm very happy for you guys. But I think that you guys are gonna make it. Just I have that feeling.
I hope so.
I
Yeah.
really hope so. Because I can't tell you how much I am sick of seeing Boris Johnson on the TV opening up with people of Britain. I'm like,
Oh,
right,
tell me
shut the
about
fuck
it.
up, man. Like,
Does my head
we
in.
know
Yeah,
we know what's going on. Like,
yeah, yeah.
I just wish you'd
That's
open
just
up with like a nice story, like, oh, puppy were born today. Anyway, lockdowns. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just something nice.
yeah,
It's so true.
yeah.
But yeah,
Right.
like listening to your music, I get so many different sort of influences. I get like a bit of a punk vibe, bit of a like a hardcore vibe, but mainly like a massive death metal vibe. But what would you say were the main people that sort of like influenced you and were your inspirations when you originally got into music?
It was different eras and different bands at different times that influenced me. But I can say that mainly the genres that influenced me was I can start from thrash metal, hardcore, groove metal, of course, death metal. Not like I love Cannibal Corpse, but I'm not that type of everyday listening to Obituary or
Yeah.
that's all you had. And like Carnifex or Cannibal Corpse or Six Feet Under. But I have so many favorite songs from them and albums. But that's definitely one of my main death metal is also one of my main influences. But if I'm gonna pick up names band, I mean, like bands and stuff from. I have a friend that I just said in another interview that I have a friend that she told me that once that you have a very 40-year-old American kind of music taste. I'm into Pantera. Most of my favorite bands are from US. I'm into Pantera, Slipknot, Lamb of God. Um, like
I can see the
even
groove in the music. To be fair, like when you
yeah,
mentioned like
Deftones.
that,
Even
I was like,
yeah,
because it's like there's like straightforward death metal bands. It's just blasting all the way through. But like you guys have got the
yeah,
groove, and I miss the groove because the groove's something that people haven't done for a while, and I'm glad that you guys are bringing
definitely.
it back.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We are not a blast beat type of black metal band.
Yeah.
We have the vibe, we have the riffs, the tunings, and everything, vocals also. But I'm saying that even from like new metal bands like Deftones, Korn, to like bunch of death metal bands, and but the main genre for me in here is groove metal because I think the groove metal is the key to all the modern subgenres in metal in 90s to this day. So bands like Sepultura is also one of my most favorite. What Slayer is just that one band for me, Slayer is it's always been. And yeah, there's so many to mention, but every song kind of leaning towards another subgenre. So when you get an album from us, you will see different momentums from different subgenres. So it's not easy for me or maybe for a lot of people to point out that okay, Compass is a thrash metal band or it's a hardcore band or it's only strictly death metal band. It just depends on which song you heard and what you're really about. So I can say, as I said, from hardcore to death metal is what I like, and I love that. Even in my lyrics, I love that kind of edge in my music and my lyrics, and I don't really like to beat around the bush. I like to get straightly to the point, the riff wise, the rhythm wise, and riff wise. That's the three holy R for me: riff, rhythm, and rhyme. That's that's what, and I also love hip hop. I love old school hip hop, and that's where my writing skills, like playing with words, that's one of the most important things for me. That I just do not like to write lyrics in a very classic way that metal bands usually offer. I like to give it a little bit of spice, playing with words, like so many other stuff. So I guess I just picked whatever I like from different subgenres and just put it in and just hope that people like it.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the best thing to do.
we love it, like, because like, before the interview, I always listen to the band's like music, just before, to sort of give myself a refresh of like what they're about and what they're like and stuff like that. Like, and like genuinely, like, I think your band's one of those bands where you can't really place where they are in the genre, but in a good way. Like, it's like there's so many elements where it's like they all play off of each other so well. Like, you've got the groove, but then you've got the crushing riffs, and then you've got like such a great vocal style as well. And it's like it all complements and flows off each other. And I genuinely like proper love your band, because I was like,
that's very nice to
genuinely,
hear. Yeah.
it's like I was listening to it just before, and I was like, these guys they just hit a bit different, like, for me.
Thank you very much.
Just like proper
Thank
hits
you.
you in the face, like, there's no fucking about, just straight in there, and that's what I like about it.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
I want to ask, what got you into heavy music then? Like, what was the first moment when you're like, this is the music for me?
Bro, I was a football player. I was a football player when I was a
Seriously?
teenager. Yeah. I had a, I didn't have a way with music until the first time that I heard heavy metal. It was that wave of new metal plus Metallica and all that. Like, but I was way into football, and then I just got this surgery on my right knee when I was 14. But at the time, as I said, since I was 9, I knew what metal is, but kind of felt the vibe, the heavy music when I was 10, 11. But it was just listening to it and still being a football player. But when I did the surgery, I was like, I couldn't play football for a year and a half, something. So I was depressed and a teenager. So what's the best for you to fill this huge gap but music? So then I just noticed that after that, uh, the poster of this football players are coming down from a wall, and instead the bands are going on. So I just noticed that that was a phase.
Yeah.
That was a real love for me at the time. But I just noticed that that's a phase. So then I just wanted to be I wanted to be part of something. So I just begged my mom for a drum, and she was like, "Of course not, because it's loud. I do not have place for you to just banging on the drum. So, but I can get you a guitar instead, electric guitar. But first of all, you should show me the love and talent that is not just something that you want to do for summer." So I just picked up my acoustic guitar, the acoustic guitar that my sister bought a year before, but she didn't really start to learn it. So my mom was kind of skeptic that you're probably gonna end up like the sister and you're just gonna in your room and just do nothing with it. So I just went to these classes, and I started in this academy. It was but the main goal was the electric guitar. So I just learned a couple of chords, and then my teacher one day called our house and told my mom that he really loves this. So just get him that electric guitar. And that was one of the best days of my life. I told you I was 14, and I had this couple of years of listening to metal, and I knew what metal is. I just wanted that sound. And my teacher, of course, like any other guitar player, was like, "You need to learn theories, and you have to be like Joe Satriani and just see what." I was like, "Yeah, I mean, but Slipknot is cool too." So, so yeah. But a year, I remember I was going to classes for almost 3 years, but after that, I just noticed that now I'm good enough to write songs and just start to like form a band. But yeah, for me was I guess um, you will hear this from so many other teenagers that there's this kind of rebellious feeling in you that heavy metal fits right in. It's just something in that sound, and to me, the sound of a distortion guitar is the best sound that ever was found by a human being. I mean, there's just something in that chuggy riffs that is closest one to the orgasm. It's just, you know what I mean?
So
it's
true.
just so crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, like,
Absolutely.
I remember when I first got into metal, like I had a friend called Brad in high school, and he got into metal way before me. In fact, like the first time he showed me metal, I think he like showed me the wrong band. I can't remember what band he showed me, but it was just too much too soon. And I was there like, "Oh, I
Yeah.
don't think I like metal."
Oh
And then
yeah.
like a couple of years later in sixth form, I was like, "I know you said you didn't like metal, but you ever listened to Slipknot?" And I was like, "No." And he goes, "Can I listen to it?" And we were literally in, like on break, and I remember listening to it, and I was like, "This is fucking sick." It was the year the Grey Chapter came out, so it was his first song he showed me was "The Devil in I." So I was there like, "This is great." So I remember going home and I listened. I think the same day I like listened to like a full Korn album. I think I listened to like I think I found a Muir. I found a Muir, like, gave them a couple listens. Found Pantera, gave them a couple listens. I literally like must have like binged metal, and by the time I'd come back the next day, I was then showing him albums that I found like on YouTube, where he's
All
like,
right.
"Oh, have you listened to this?" And he's there like. He was like,
Okay.
like thinking he was like the expert and knew the most about it, and I was like, "Yeah, listen to this, listen to
Yeah.
that, listen to this."
I had the same friend also in a junior high school, and he it was the same situation because he kind of gave me the first CD, and it was a music video that he captured from like satellite TV. There was this channel called Viva at the time. It was like years ago, and they at the time metal was so popular that they were showing this on like music TV channels like MTV and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Then I just heard the first thing that I saw at the time. It was Slipknot, Mudvayne, Slayer, so many other bands that some of them were like really heavy for me, as you said, the experience, but it was like so diverse that I could find out that, okay, so it's not just one type of sound. Metal is bigger than that. But then it just happened the same thing for me. I mean, I was like way more hyperactive than him and just bringing him music that, oh, have you listened to this? It was like, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I remember
really like
like
this.
it's so funny though when someone introduces you to something and like you like learn and then like fucking listen to it way more than them, and then you come in and then you're like, "Yeah, but have you seen this band?" And it goes, "They've got like 2 listeners on Spotify." I'm like, "Yeah, they're really good." I
It's
mean,
like a
just
bit
find the
competitive
Spotify
with it as well.
underground.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think that they're gonna like you at the moment because they probably think that, okay, are we rivals in here or whatever? But
Yeah, no,
that's what it is, that's a good thing about the technology and so many and the internet and so many other stuff, because you will find something that is cool, and you just, yeah, it's there for you, so it can be any.
Can
Yeah,
you remember
absolutely.
like your first metal gig? Like what was that sort of like if your first ever metal gig?
First of all, man, yeah, I mean, Iran bands cannot come and play, but we have like local bands that play in Iran. You have to get permits for that. But there were a couple of local bands that playing here and there. But the band that like international band, the first time I can say it was me in Norway almost 3 years ago. I saw Demo and that symphony and everything, and it was just so fucking huge, and the sound and everything. So and that was the first one for me. Like the bands I always admired, I could see here in Norway, but there were also Opeth on the bill, Hypocrisy, and so many other black metal bands because it was Inferno Festival here in Oslo. It's a black metal festival, and then a year after, I could. No, it was not the year after. It was the same year, summertime. I saw Slayer for the first time and last time because it was the
Oh yeah.
and they played. I was like, "Fuck, man! I'm so lucky I could finally see Slayer." And so many other bands. I saw Why She Sleeps, which are from England. Bro, they slayed it. They killed it. And I also talked with I don't remember the name of the lead singer of the band, but he was a very cool dude. And I also saw Slipknot last year, right before the lockdown. Like I saw him in February, March. We were on the lockdown, and that was a trip, man. That was awesome.
I literally remember the first time I saw Slipknot because it's always something special when it's like the first band you listen to and you finally get to see it
Oh
live.
yeah,
Yeah, for
of
sure.
course.
Because like I saw Slipknot at Download 2019 and I'd missed out on every opportunity possible to fucking see him. Like I'd literally like I think I got into metal about a month after they'd played Leeds and Manchester and they was already out the country, so I was like, oh, I can't see him now. And like I couldn't I literally didn't know who to go to or where to go to see what gigs were going on when. So I missed them a second time. I was like, oh for fuck. And I was like then they got announced for Download and I remember like a friend of the podcast, Caleb, he like kind of like I met him in sixth form roughly when I was getting to metal and he was getting into metal at the same time, and he were both our first band was Slipknot. So this
Yeah.
was like both our first time seeing Slipknot, and I remember being sat there next to Caleb, and the massive Slipknot banner just gets rushed up and they're playing straight away.
Yeah,
And
I'm the
like,
same way.
and I
Yeah,
remember looking
that's
over.
just it's hard to describe. You should be there. Actually, my friend he couldn't be there, so still to this day I'm like bragging that I was there, you weren't, and you should have been there. A lot of
There's
shit.
just something about it. I was there
You
like,
you
oh my god.
there is no way to describe. You should really be there and feel that. I've seen your favorite band, as you said, for especially the first time, and that vibe. And always I'm saying that the bass in the bass and kick in the metal show is something magical. You're standing in the field, and you're in front of all this fucking wall of sound, and it's just amazing.
It
It's
does
just
like unleash
amazing, and the
something inside
Slipknot
you.
really delivers. Yeah. But I mean, to me, I'm still like you hear from so many people that yeah, in Iowa days there was something else, and they will tell you stories how legendary and how dangerous and scary the show was, and it was good. It was awesome, basically. But to this day, I'm like, I wish I was older or I could see Slipknot in 2001, two.
When it
Definitely.
was like really crazy shit. When it was like jumping off like the
Yeah,
highest
man. I
points and
mean,
stuff.
yeah, I have a friend. She was telling me she saw Slipknot for like 4 or 5 times, and she said twice was at the time that it was like in the Iowa War Tour. She was like, I was scared. I didn't dare to stand in front. So many people just went back because the side of the pits, people are nuts. People are crazy at Slipknot shows, and I just heard all these stories, but when I was there. But the roughest show that I was ever at was Testament, man. Wow.
Testament. Wow.
Testament. People were just crowd surfing. I just got like two people like kicked me in the face, and I'm not a big dude, so it's hard for me to. And in Norway everyone is like just Viking size, and it's just hard for you to watch the show. And I was in the front row, like behind someone else, but it was still hard to watch the stage, see the stage, and people were basically dying in there. Pit was so big that basically everyone was in it. So Testament was one of the hardest, and Slayer, of course, and also
Yeah.
Slipknot. It was really rough.
I remember like my first festival experience because I got into metal around I think 2011, and I went to like a festival a year later. So this is like only after I've been to 2 gigs that weren't even metal related. So my favorite bands were like Metallica and Tenacious D. Like I got into them that year, and it was like a massive bill of like really heavy bands at the time for me that I had no idea who they were. They had Trivium, Lamb of God, Machina. I was like, I don't know who these are, but I'm gonna go see them anyway. And then I go to like Machina, and they have like 8 mosh pits going at the same time. And I was like, Jesus, is this what it is? Is this what metal shows are like? But I was just like in love with it from there. Like that was just the moment I was like, this is the music for me. Like this is such a good show. And like every band on the bill just proper killed it. And yeah, I've just been going to gigs ever since, to be honest. Like that was a real eye opener for me.
Yeah.
I think like the craziest like pit I've ever seen in my entire life was Lamb of God also played Download 2019. And I remembered because I jumped in, and it was one of those things where you jump in and you go, actually, fuck this, and you just jump back a little bit. And what happened was, as I jumped in, they had a circle pit to Redneck, yeah.
Oh
But
shit, that's legendary.
What I didn't know was there was 4 other pits all kind of next to each other, like one small one medium-sized one, you know, like it just dotted about that then just opened up and it all became one. And I was there like, fucking hell.
Yeah.
Because you saw these people
Just
move.
insane. And yeah, I mean, so many people cannot be. I'm not a. I basically when I go to shows, I'm there for watching the bands. But for example, in Slipknot, I remember for song Disaster Piece, I was in the pit. I'm not like into crowd surfing and all that. I'm just trying to be civil. But when I just go out go like full on. But yeah, I mean, some of these bands and some of these gigs, festivals, shows, it just gets out of hand, and and just be there for first time, or you don't know the band or environment, it's not safe to participate, or maybe even it's not safe to participate at all for anyone, because you end up with broken arm or like broken forehead or whatever.
Yeah, and like sometimes
Absolutely.
depending on the gig you go to, even if you're not involved in the pit, you end up getting hurt anyway.
Yeah, for example, that Testament
Can't avoid
show,
it.
I'm not gonna stay in front ever again if I say Testament. That was really harsh. That was really harsh. People were fucking killing each other.
It's like
And I mean,
Rasputin, it's insane.
shows in Scandinavia is kind of chill. People are like reluctant. The characteristic is something, but when you see a show that is like happening like that, so you just imagine what can happen in a Testament show in the US or in UK, because I saw so many Download Festival footages and videos, and it's just huge, and even Rock and Ring and whatever. But yeah, I mean, people like different stuff.
Yeah, I think the UK goes a bit more crazy when it comes to shows, and I've spoken to like a few friends about this, and I think I narrowed down why. I said like British people kind of like mannered in a way to be like sort of like upright and like sort of uptight in a way, and I said I think British metalheads also kind of have to hide the metalheads, because sometimes like you get a lot of shit for being a metalhead. Like a lot of people do take the piss, which is a bit shit. But then you're like, then when you finally get to go to the show and you're surrounded by people also like into the same music, you just like fuck it.
Yeah, I get it.
Plus,
Yes.
we all
And
also love fucking drinking here, so 90% of that is just people being drunk.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, oh shit, yes, after the show, I remember this Slipknot one. People were fucking just going from left to right. Everyone was fucking drunk. And here in Norway, I'm talking from experience. Like alcohol and everything related to that is very restricted and very controlled. But for example, in the supermarket, you cannot get a beer for more than 4.5% alcohol. Yeah.
Wow.
So you have to drink a lot to be really fucking drunk. And I remember the dude, he was coming from US and he was basically fucking crying that why should I pay like $4 for the beer which costs 25 cents or 50 cents for me in US. And here alcohol and tobacco is very it has a very high tax on it, so I have to pay a lot for it. And the percentage of alcohol is not that much, so you have to drink a lot to be shit faced. But when you see people are fucking like shit faced after the show, so just imagine how much drink they had that night.
Oh yeah, and how much they probably spent as well. Where you're like, oh my god, how much did you spend on this, mate?
Yeah, it's one of those things like when you look in the morning.
I went to Germany and I couldn't believe that how much money I'm paying for alcohol in Norway. It was just insane.
Yeah. Well, here you can get like a 5 liter bottle of like cider that's probably like 4% as well, but like it's like literally like a 4 liter bottle for like £1. It's
Wow.
Crazy.
To be fair, I've tried it when I was young. It's the worst thing you ever taste in your entire life. Like it is disgusting, but it gets you shit faced. So
yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. So we are coming to the end point of the interview now, but one way that we always like to leave it is, what advice would you give to your younger self starting out the band, and what advice would you give to like new musicians that are just starting out as well?
First of all, to myself, younger self, is that try to be more open with people and try to accept the way they and not trying to like that circle should not be really tight and you should not be really reluctant and be like no you're not my type or whatever. And in music I couldn't ask for more. I mean he just did what he could and stood for what he believed and stick to his gun, and I just hope that he would be happy with what he's doing to this day. And for younger musicians, just do what you love, man. Don't care what anyone says. Because at the end of the day, this is your life. This is individual experience. No one's going to live in your shoes. And try to listen to people's experience, like me now that I'm talking, but make a decision yourself. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Not everything worth being experienced. Absolutely not. But when you have to find out yourself in life. And if music is what you love, and you especially living in Western countries, there is so many opportunities for you to do what you love and not taking your freedom of choice for granted, and always just if you have a voice, try to use it and don't sleep on your freedom because it's like a rock. Someone can,
definitely.
And that's my message if someone cares.
No, for sure. And thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
Glad to
And
be here, man.
yeah,
thank
you
you,
too,
man.
man. And honestly, I have the utmost respect for you to sticking the middle finger up to anyone that tried to stop you doing what you love to do. And you're still at it, and you're still going to release an amazing album, which I can't wait to listen to as well. So,
Thank you very much.
respect.
Appreciate it.
Genuinely, I'm so like grateful that you did share your story with us. Obviously, it was such a personal and quite like traumatic thing that you had to go through. So I'm happy that you shared it with us, and I'm really sorry you had to go through it. But I'm so happy that you persevered and you are still making music and just like, you know what, fuck you guys. Like, so, just like what Brad said, I have so much insane amount of respect for you because I can't imagine how it was going through that. So honestly, I'm so excited for this album.
Yeah.
And I really hope that you just keep doing what you're doing, man, because honestly, you know, like the Confess is such a unique and great band. So I'm excited to see what comes out in the future.
For sure,
Yeah,
man.
sure. And we're excited for that too.
Yeah, I think we're going to live here very inspired, if anything, to be honest. It's like, if
Definitely.
you ever feel like demotivated, I was like, you know what? He's gone out and done this. He's against all the odds. He's come out stronger. So that's what matters.
Thanks. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
No
And
worries.
I hope to
Yeah.
see you guys like tour the UK sometime. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, of course. It will be a pleasure.
Oh yeah, man. So yeah, before we leave off, is there anything that you'd like to plug? Anything coming up in Confess that you'd like to mention before we leave?
Yeah, just people please keep their support, and yeah, we have a lot to do, and yeah, we're around.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, and take care.
thank you.
Makes the difference in your full differential senseless. Choosing a knowing that your bones. Fight like you fight, it's your fault.